Hi, you guys. We are here with another poly segment today. We are looking at our segment titled Let's Talk Poly. Basically, what we're going to do is just take a topic and just dissect it. This is more so for the poly community, those of us that have sister wives and actually agree with this lifestyle. And so we're going to just talk through just some poly situations. I'm always on the monogamy drama aspect. I do understand that, but poly has some drama in it too. So we're going to address that type of drama from a positive perspective today. And I'm so excited to have my sister Mari, my little sister, with me. You just like, I know you're like a grown woman and all, but you're just like so cute to me. And so I thank you and little Miss Ma'am for joining us today. She's so precious. And will not keep you guys long because you're mothering, I'm mothering, and we got stuff to do. We understand that as wives. But
Oh,
I want to just give you a moment before we get into the discussion to just introduce yourself and whatever it is that you want the audience to know.
okay. Well, shalom, everyone. My sister married you, and I've been in a poly relationship or marriage with my husband for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years next month. I decided that I did want to be in a polygynous marriage before I got married. It was something that I knew that I wanted to be with a man who was either polygynous or already had another wife. And it was just my preference to want to challenge myself every day to love and to die to self. And I'm just seeing the mighty men in the book that they were taking other wives and seeing the days that we live in. I just felt that it would be more fitting for myself and just something that I was interested in. But yeah, I've been a police nerd for 2 years and I love it. I love my husband and my sister and all of our children.
That is amazing, and anybody that follows her should definitely know she loves her husband. Listen, don't play. So, and I love it. It's so refreshing to see it, especially like you're maybe think a year older than my oldest daughter, and so it's just refreshing to see in the community, that our teachings are not in vain. The truth that we believe and we speak on is not in vain, and so I want this segment to really be an example of just making this thing work because it takes some work. And so you posted this status and it was such a bold status. And, I love the boldness, but you
Yeah.
were just saying how one wife can get a different version of that husband if that wife is not the same version that she sees the other wife is for him. So basically, you were saying I may get like the most calmest version of my husband because I bring peace to our, established relationship. Whereas my sister wife, on the other hand, may not see that version of him if she doesn't bring the same thing. And I saw it and I was like, teach, because as we are looking into this lifestyle, this is one of the main issues because a lot of women still deal with that monogamy drama competition, and it's easy to look at the man like he favors her over me and it's not fair, but you pulled that thing out like, check yourself. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to give you the platform to just expound on that for the sisters that really want to listen and take that accountability.
Yes, ma'am. Hallelujah. So, that post, it really came from a conversation that I was having with my husband a while back, regarding some I could probably say like from an immature mindset from my own self, comparing and things like that. And I went to my husband with some things and basically he looked at me and he was just like, "So I hear that you have all these things to say, but what are you doing to gain favor from me?" And it really cut me up. And I'm just like, dang, you're so right, because it's easy to look at your sister and see, that she's getting all these benefits and things from the husband. If you're not in the right mindset, it's easy for you to see that and become bitter and then you become a worse wife to your husband because you're like, "Oh, why am I not getting this and why am I not getting that?" When in reality, a husband desires to be a good husband to his wives. He desires to give them really the world if he can. So it's more so like us, what type of wives that we are towards our husbands that will get us that favor. It's like almost the same with the Most High, where it's a scripture in Genesis where that says like, is it not if you do good that you will obtain favor, but if you don't do good, to the door sin is waiting for you. And it's like the same with your husband. And it speaks about that in First Peter chapter 3, where it's telling you that even if you have a husband who is not following the word, with you being a wife, doing your part, being obedient, humble, submissive, even to a brother who is not following the word, that you will obtain favor from him. So that's really where it came from, really like my own personal experiences. And as I got a chance to turn it around and, be a wife that could obtain favor from my husband, I decided to go ahead and make that post because I know that there's a lot of comparing in the poly community, which is like really unhealthy. I think comparison steals the joy of what you do have because all the wives are not going to be the same. And we know that in the scriptures that the Most High has certain people who he favors, like with Enoch, he was obviously very, very favored by the Most High. That doesn't mean that any of the other brothers like Moses and Jacob and those brothers who he favored as well, that doesn't mean that he loved them any less. But some people went out their way to do more than others did. So it's just about understanding that everybody has their own function in the body, but we should all be striving to do our part to the best of our ability. Rather it's somebody who's the foot or somebody who's the hand, we should all be striving to do our best in whatever that the Most High has placed us in.
That is
Hallelujah.
so rich in wisdom. All praises to the Most High. That is so rich in wisdom. And it is evident. And I understand you are an example at this moment of when the scriptures talk about the husband of the Proverbs 31 woman and how the men praise him at the gates. And I know I can say you don't speak as a woman like this without a righteous man teaching you in that, you know what I'm saying, in that realm and
Hallelujah.
allowing you to grow, you know what I'm saying, as a wife. And some would look at what your husband told you as condescending or emotionless or not hearing you and all those type of excuses to avoid the real issue. He addressed the real issue with you, and that was look in the mirror. Don't compare. And that is a big issue with poly in the poly community because we are bringing that comparison in from monogamy. And you think that he's supposed to love a variation of one woman and you have to be that one woman, when basically whatever he sees in you is what he loves in you. Whatever he sees in your sister is whatever he loves in her. Whatever he sees in another woman is what he loves in her. And in the community, I think we need to emphasize that there is no reason to compare. We don't have to do that over here. If we were fighting to be the main one or the number one, yes, that's the monogamy drama. Over here, we don't do that. We don't have to, because once we are established as wives or as concubines or whatever position in that man's household that we are, all we have to do is just till that relationship. And that status hit me because it reminded me of a conversation I was having when I was kind of going through some stuff with a sister, and I was, sharing with another sister, asking, kind of for some advice, and kind of frustrated because I'm knowing the passion that I have for polygyny, and I'm knowing that I want to be the best version of a sister that I can be. And so the sister told me in counsel, she said, this sister is fighting for a position that she doesn't even know that she doesn't have to fight for. And so it caused friction between her and I because you're fighting for my position when you already have a position. And if you just do what your position calls for, like you said, if I'm the hand, I need to operate as the hand. If you're the foot, you operate as the foot. Like, we have functions. we have different roles, different functions. And as women in polygyny, it is imperative that we understand that. And part of something that's rolling out this fall is a healing journal for sisterhood, those of us that are in polygyny. And one of the things that we're definitely going to talk about is healing those monogamy wounds of comparison. Feeling inadequate, feeling like you got to perform, for his attention, feeling like you got to be better than the next sister when really you don't. And I'm just so glad that you were able to share that journey from the beginning to the growth, because that's what it's about, like actually growing. And I can just see 10 years from now, like the sisters you're going to be able to kind of like just teach just as easy as that status cut, you know, and just really it sounds so simple, but it's such a profound thing that's running the sisterhood in our communities because we keep comparing. We keep comparing. We don't, well, you bought her roses and you didn't buy me roses, or you hug her when you walk through the door, and you just, like it's silly, but we do it.
It's so crazy how comparison works because like what you said about the roses things, like it could be a sister who's looking at the husband buying this sister roses, and you're like, dang, well, you didn't buy me roses. But in reality, you don't even like roses. So why would I buy you roses if you don't like them? Now all of a sudden you want roses because your sister has them. How about if it's the husband, he knows, okay, this wife, she likes chocolate, so I'm gonna buy her some chocolate, and then I'm gonna get her some roses 'cause I know that that's what she likes. But obviously, roses are a little bit more expensive than chocolate, but that's what she likes, and that's she likes something else. So I've seen that a lot as well, to where it's like when you really think about it and you calm down and get out of your feelings, you'll understand that your husband was actually doing a kind gesture to you and your sister wife, but you're so caught up in this state of comparing that you can't even have gratitude or be thankful for what it is that he is giving you, you know? Because I know from my husband's house, me and my sister are very different. We connect on the cooking level. We both love to cook and bake and things like that. And on the word of Yah, we connect there. But on a lot of other things, we are very, very different. So the things that my husband would do for me are not the same things that he would do for my sister. Like she likes shoes and things like that. I prefer like dresses and head coverings. I don't really care about the shoes. So it's just every woman is different, and like nobody should be, I mean, it's okay for sisters, especially if you're an incoming wife, to try to look to the wife or the wives that were before you to see what they're doing that your husband favors, to see if you can do that. And even if you go to your sister and you're like, hey, I noticed that this is something that her husband likes. Can you show me how to do this? Or I noticed that he likes this meal. Can you show me how to make it? But we shouldn't be striving to be this sister, to be just like her, because if he wanted another her, he would just be with her. He wouldn't. A lot of men, sometimes they might seek for women that may be similar, like looking, but they're not the same. Like there's something that he likes in this wife that he may not get from this wife, or even however many wives it is. So I see that a lot where women will try to do that as well. And it's like we all have beauty in ourselves and whatever that we provide for our husbands. I know that there's a lot of things about my sister that I don't necessarily see in myself, but that's the beauty in my sister, that she has these things that I don't necessarily have. And I love that she has those things, and we're just different. But the comparing thing is very, very dangerous. It can really put a woman in a state of like depression, and it can bring those insecurities if you don't understand your husband loves you for you. Like he chose you because he saw the beauty in you. He didn't choose you for a foul, crazy reason. Like it's
Exactly.
it's not a bad thing that the sisters are different.
Exactly.
So we just have to learn to appreciate those differences and things like that.
Yeah. And it's the I want to address one of the mindsets it seems like sisters have, especially when they don't really understand polygyny. And a lot of sisters in the community, I think, get into polygyny, but more so because they don't want to maybe lose the husband, or they don't want to seem like they giving up, or they don't want another woman just coming. Like, I don't think their hearts are really righteous enough for polygyny in the first place. So as you're in it, you continually feed on those negative aspects of polygyny, and you have this mindset that, well, he's supposed to treat both of us equal. The scriptures are clear in what he is supposed to provide for all of his wives, but equal doesn't look the same. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I'm that wife that does not like flowers. My husband knows if he's buying me flowers, they need to be some that I can bathe with. Like, cause that's all I'm finna do is just make be like a nice, relaxing bath. I don't like flowers. Whereas, another wife could come in and completely love flowers, and I buy them for her myself. But I'm not gonna feel no type of way if he doesn't give me flowers when I know, he would tell me, "Hey, go give me a budget and go spend money on herbs." Like, that it's just different. And so we want to subconsciously punish the man in our unhealed state. They go, "Okay, well, you gotta treat us the same, and you gotta make sure we both have big houses and make sure we both have these cars." And don't get me wrong, like you said, a man that really loves and adores his wives is going to shower them. But the expectation, the entitlement is like, slow down. Like, don't come over here with all that. Like, don't do
Yeah,
that, do not do that. And so it also goes to the aspect, and I don't think some people like this, the seniority aspect. My husband and I, we've been together 9 years at this point. There are just certain aspects of our relationship. A new wife or new wives are not going to come in at the same point that I am at. I don't say that like pridefully, it's realistic. Like, if I've built a life with him for 9 years, you don't come in at the ninth year and then just say, "Hey, here I am. What we got going on?" No, y'all got something going on, and we got like it doesn't work like that. And so I think that's a dangerous aspect if you're coming in and you're expecting to come in at this same level and do no groundwork, just with a snap of a finger, is that's not even realistic, and that's not fair. So the comparison is a thief. It's a thief.
yeah,
It will, like you said, it will rob you of your own peace in depression, your own peace in your marriage, your peace within the sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? Everything, like, it will completely rob you. Um,
yeah.
so this was for me a very necessary conversation.
Hallelujah.
And I don't know if you have anything else left to add. Like I said, I didn't want to hold you long. I wanted to begin using this podcast for little nuggets like this. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what this one is for. Let's talk poly. These are just little clips of conversations where things that we need to address in the community.
Yeah.
So feel free to add anything else and have it.
What you said about everything being equal, that's another thing that really does need to be talked about in the poly community. And as far as what you were saying about a lot of sisters who are in polygyny don't have the right mindset. And I really do agree on that, that there is a lot of sisters who are in polygyny that don't necessarily want to be in polygyny. So they don't have the right mindset towards it. And not just towards the first wives, but I do see a lot of this behavior from the initial wives a lot.
Yeah.
But as far as like everything being the same and equal and things like that, that's not realistic, especially in the time that we live in.
No.
A lot of women aren't necessarily wanting to be in polygyny. So if a husband has, say, two wives and one of them has the right mindset for it and the other one doesn't, he's most likely going to spend more time with the wife who doesn't so that he can get her mind right and things like that. If a husband, like about the post that I made, if a husband has a wife who is bringing him more peace, he might prefer to spend more time with that woman. Things are not going to be equal because everyone is different. So different women require different things. It's just realistic for everyone to for everyone to get what they require. You know, it's kind of like if you have a 5-year-old child and a 2-year-old child. The 2-year-old child is going to need more attention than the 5-year-old. So with the everything being equal, it's not realistic. And a lot of times it doesn't even make sense for everything to be equal, because if you've been here like you've been with your husband for 9 years, he doesn't have to get you the same things that he's getting an incoming wife, because 9 times out of 10, you have most of everything that you need. So he might add to the collection every now and then, but for the incoming wife, she's going to need more things because they're just now getting established. That's something that I really feel like needs to be talked about more. And I also think that women coming into polygyny, it would be good if they had counseling
Yes.
in poly marriage before actually making that covenant with that man. I think it would help a lot in the marriage, helping the wife, helping all the wives, the whole union, for them to have that type of counseling.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for one, you have to, like, I was talking to the another interviewee, and she said everything is a theory until you're actually in it. You know what I'm saying? It's a theory, but when you actually get in it and you actually see it face to face, and it's like when you start feeling things that you didn't know were kind of still there, like those things have to be, addressed. And of course, we live in a society where, communication is not a strong point for a lot of people. A lot of sisters are very hurt still, dealing with a lot of emotional baggage with very little understanding on how to express that, and so it's just so many things. I will tell any woman, like, because I've had women to ask me, like, what do you want from me, as a sister wife? And my number one thing is come healed. If you're going to want to be in this home, come healed. Because there are just certain things we can understand, certain things are just non-negotiable and non-tolerable. Like, if we want to deal with certain issues from some women, we just would get some more babies. Because I mean, it's certain things are just not worth the energy for. And so just going back to like you said, you have different women that bring out different things. And this is the aspect of why men are poly by nature. One woman does not fit the totality of him as a man. Like, I know for like my husband and I, like, we really connect on the business aspect. Like, we work and flow good together. We have always done that. There are some areas I may not flow with him directly on that he is okay with, that I know another sister probably would flow better with me because that's how she's wired and that's what he needs. And at the end of the day, if everything is really about what the husbands need, what they need, and what suffices to help them be the men that they are, what does it matter? Like, you automatically get your blessings from just operating in your position, as a wife. So there is no need to compare. It's also like a slap in the face, not just to your husband, but to the Most High. Because it's like you say, you don't even have enough gratitude to appreciate what he's doing for you, because you keep looking at what he's doing for the other wife when you should just be glad that she has that, just like you have your benefits. So, I love this aspect. Like, I really do. And I really want to do something a little bit personal. That's why I'm kind of holding off on the journal. It's a healing journal for wives and polygyny. I want it to be the thing that heals and brings so much life to sisters, that are in this, because it's such a vast topic. That's just my last two takes. Like, as a woman, you will not be everything to him. One woman will not be. And you just have to be okay with that and be okay with, like they say, one of the ladies in the group said, keep your eyes on your own paper. Like, we were all taught that in school, like, keep your eyes on your own paper. Just make sure
Yeah,
your paper is your answer's right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And don't worry about it, or like you said, in the aspect of if we're trying to help each other, be the best versions of wives for him that we can be. Now that's another aspect, but no, you know. So
Hallelujah.
I thank you, baby girl, and found her peace and and went to sleep. So it has been obviously a very peaceful atmosphere. for this conversation, so I'm glad about that. And
Um,
I don't have anything else. So if you are good, we are going to bid you guys farewell. Thank you for tuning in to another segment of, and this is actually the very first segment, and I'm excited because it will not be the last of Let's Talk Polly from the Polly by Nature series of Fanning the Flame podcast. Until next time, I'm your host, Zoe D. Thank you, Sister Mari, and I look forward to having you back.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All praises.